Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Incredible greetings and welcome to 365 Creative Academy Creative Lounge. I did not mean to actually say that long, but I had lost my whole train of thought in that moment. But hello and welcome to the Creative Lounge. Tonight's discussion is going to be on, just why is this moving? I'm not even touching my desk. I don't even know why it's shaking like that. Like my chair is shaking, but it's not connected to the desk. I don't understand why it's shaking. But we are going to discuss e-commerce and helping you decide or figure out if you are ready for an e-commerce website. Okay. Um, so just to separate the two, I feel like everyone should have a web presence. Like without a doubt, you should have a web presence, whether that is heavy rotation on social media, whether it's a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a TikTok page that's dedicated to your business, Pinterest that's dedicated to your business, and even a YouTube channel. Like you don't have to create like content where it's showing your face. You don't have to create DIYs and things of that on your YouTube channel, but you can use it as basically like an advertisement. There are companies that are overseas and like it'll just be like B-roll. Their company information is at the bottom. So even if you go and you have some content where it's like shirts and you've taken the pictures, you can put them in a slideshow. Or if you have like some footage where you recorded it, you can use different softwares to blend it all into one. If you have if a Windows computer, Microsoft Office, there is a free one in there. What is this called? This is called Microsoft Clipchamp, and it comes built in with your Microsoft subscription. You can use that to thread things together. You can put that on, get royalty free music, put that on a YouTube with your business information. That's a form of marketing. But anywhere, like the more places you are, the more searchable you are when people type in your name. If you have a business name, or if you're using keywords for certain things, like you're more than likely to come up because your description, if it has something in there about birthday shirts, anniversary shirts, retirement shirts, tumblers, mugs, custom jewelry, like all these different things, you're more likely to come up. So I feel like everyone should have a web presence. Um, if you have a business, you should, immediately attempt to secure your domain. You don't have to have like a full-on e-commerce website to secure your domain. It'll cost you anywhere from $12.95 to $19.95, depending on which site you use, especially if you're using like .com. There are some others that you have to pay more for, like if you want a .shop, .org, like it's a lot of like the end parts of it that you can get. They're like more like Vanity Matrix, like or dot whatever's, and they cost a little bit more. But depending on where you get your domain from, like I said, anywhere from $12.95 up to like $19 somewhere there, like almost $20 per year for your domain. But you want to secure that. You can always just renew it. Once you have that domain, you can literally have that domain live anywhere, because you will forward it, or you'll create like subdomains. You can forward that one. So my hsing365.com, I can actually separate that from my Shopify because I have a subdomain that says shop.hsing365.com, subdomain, right? I can make that where that goes to the Shopify site. But if I wanted to create something for HS Sync 365, right? That's our parent company. So I could have a page that talks about HS Sync 365. What are all the companies that are under that? Honestly speaking, Silaholics Anonymous, I had like the Ink Zone, or I can just talk about, our mission. If I had I have HS Sync Designs, HS Sync Digital, HS Sync Prints. Like I could go and list all of these under this website that talks about the origin of HS Sync 365, or where our headquarters is located at, and that would just be a web page for that. I have a domain for Honestly Speaking, so I could have that one where I would update that, maybe show results from using the paper, this and the third. So when someone searches Honestly Speaking right now, if someone goes to www.honestlyspeaking.com, it takes them to the Shopify site. If they search hsync365.com, it takes them to the Shopify site. If they search HS Sync Digital, it takes them to like our regular Shopify site. So I have all of these parked domains and I just have them go somewhere. It doesn't have to be attached to a actual e-commerce site. Through like the company that I use, SiteGround, I can create just a regular site. There's Google sites that you can do. Some people will do them through Canva. But if you secure your site, it makes it so where, like, let's say you do get big and you don't think about it. There are people that will buy your domain name and try to sell it back to you because they know you need it for your business. So before you go and talk about your business, tell someone your name and things like that, you come up with the name. Let's say if it's a temporary name, you're only paying $20 for 1 year because it will, you have to renew it. And if you don't, then you lose access to that domain. So it's $20 for the whole year. I have probably about like 25 domains, like if I'm being serious, like being honest, I have like 25 different domains. And one of them is actually about to expire. I'm going to let it expire because it was supposed to be a joint venture with someone and that just didn't work out. So when that one expires, hey, if somebody wants to get it, they can. Like they go back to an old video and they search for it and saw it. You ain't got to worry about me trying to go back and get it, but you just have it just to have it, right? So as it relates to like creative and making customized and personalized items, or even if you want to have a brand where it's pre-made things, it's designs that resonate with you, you want to start your company where you're doing a lot of motivational shirts, spiritual shirts, holiday shirts. So if your company is all about, we don't do any birthday, whatever, we make shirts specifically for different holidays. We're going to have, or seasons, we're going to have fall shirts, winter shirts, Halloween shirts, Thanksgiving shirts, Christmas shirts, New Year's shirts, MLK shirts, Black History Month, St. Patrick's Day, President's Day, 4th of July, Juneteenth. Like all of your shirts are going to be a theme around the season or holidays, right? You can, like, how can I say it? You can, dang it, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought like that quick because I needed to readjust myself and I lost my whole train of thought. Dang it, I hate when that happens, but it'll come back to me. But we're gonna basically just talk about like just having that WordPress. I know it says something about like the domains and stuff like that, but it just went over my head. But an e-commerce site is where somebody would purchase something. So it's not just a that just talks about what it is that you do and who you serve or whatever, and just like a static page. It's where they can actually come on and take an order. So web presence is important. Talk about who you are, how they can contact you, what is it that you provide, maybe even have like some starting price points, but they're still contacting you via email, via messages, or however you have them contact you. But then an e-commerce site is where they can go in and actually complete this purchase, complete the purchase online. Don't have to go through you. You don't have to send out invoices, things of that nature. That is essentially what an e-commerce site is. All right. I do see some things here. Okay. So we always start questions. I know I did not do our theme music. I meant to do it beforehand, like before the recording, because it kept blocking it. I went onto YouTube and it told me it blocked it because I was playing the Mary Mary. So I did not play that, but we always still start with any questions, comment, like feedback to just kick us off. All right. I do see here. What did you say the Microsoft one is called? I use Microsoft Business. So it's, if you go to your the snipping tool, right? And let's say you go to the one that's video and just do a recording. You'll end up seeing, or you go to your apps. If you have Microsoft, you go to the apps, you'll see it. It looks like a little like movie clip, and it's called Clipchamp, Microsoft Clipchamp. It's one of the apps that comes with your Microsoft 365 or whatever Office, Home, that type of deal. It comes with that. Clip. Ooh. Which one of them is Ashley like that? Chabu. But yeah, Clipchamp. I think I paid $37 for 3 years. Yeah, some of them will allow you to do multiple years. Google used to do that. Now Google does theirs through Squarespace. But they used to let you do like multiple years. Unfortunately, the site that I use, they won't let me do multiple years. I literally have to do it year after year after year after year. But some of them will, in fact, let you do multiple years for your, and like pay for it for multiple years for your domain. So I don't use GoDaddy. I mean, eventually I will show, I mean, I can show like through SiteGround. I don't know GoDaddy's interface. That's something where we would definitely probably have to do like a Zoom so that I can see the interface, or if they have like hosting, because SiteGround, once you have your domain, then it goes like to website, like it's a hosting site. I don't know really how GoDaddy is like set up, but with SiteGround, you go on there and you basically do, oh, I said a WooCommerce, a WordPress. So you can create as basically like a WordPress page. And that's how I set mine up. I would have to see the backside of GoDaddy, because if you're like, if they don't have hosting on there, then you just have to choose a hosting site for your website. And then you would forward that domain like to that. You have to do all this stuff on the back end, your CNAME, your DNS, and all these different things, where when they type it in, it will go to whoever's hosting your page. Some people do it through Canva. Now like Canva has that option. There's ones that you can do through Google, like Google Pages. It's like just one pager. So it just depends. But I would have to see how the back end of GoDaddy is. It's making me sad that that I didn't hear our theme music. Maybe you can play it at the end, after you start recording. Okay. All right. Any questions, comments, anything, guys? Just to kick us off. Well, I'm going to ask you again, but like, did you have any questions coming in? If not, I do have another question like it for the next segment. No questions? Okay, cool beans. All right. Is there anyone here that has already set up an e-commerce site, like some sort of website, or have you tried out different ones? Did you maybe like try out a Shopify and didn't work out? Did you try out an Etsy? And think anyone here has already attempted to create some sort of e-commerce site where someone will come to that location and purchase what you have to offer?
Yep, that one. I did a Shopify, and I bought into the make so many thousands of dollars in 30 days or whatever and all that. But yeah, I did set one up. It's no longer active. I think I kept it for 3 months. I really didn't get any feedback or more input, personalized basically, on what they were advertising. Every time I was in a live, my question didn't get answered, just different stuff like that. So after about 3 months, I let it go.
Okay. Did you ever get a domain? Like, did you get your domain through Shopify, or was your website like, you can have it where when someone looks for it, some people, and you can tell they have a Shopify because it'll say whatever your name is, .myshopify.com. Did you connect it to a domain, or was it still just under the myshopify.com?
It was still just under my Shopify.
Oh, okay.
And then later on, that's when I went ahead and I did the Microsoft Business, because I wanted to get an actual email with the .com at the end of it. So
but that was never connected to.
No,
so that
it was actually afterwards.
Okay, perfect. So that means like even if you were to like reopen that one, or if you were to do a new one, then you would basically just link that domain from the other. So On my HSE design ones, I wanted to see like, how that works. So with that one, I purchased my domain through Shopify, which I don't even really know who the host is, to where if I left Shopify, like how can I probably need to figure that out. But all my other domains are through like one platform where I can build websites. I have no desire to build them, but I really could take on clients because I can build an infinite number of websites. And some people don't know, like when you have a website built, a lot of it's like when you see websites, some people complained about having websites, and that's why they switched to places like Shopify, because they had a webmaster. Like you go on a website and it says, okay, well, to contact the webmaster, they would basically host all of these sites. If someone wanted to make a change, they had to go through the webmaster, send them the information that they wanted. That person would go in because they didn't have access to it because it was like on their account. Or even if they did have access, like it's so much coding and so many different things to it, you wouldn't know how to like really work it. So you had to go through a webmaster to do it. But somewhere like Shopify, where you don't have to know coding, a lot of people were switching to that, no matter if they had a service-based business or a product-based business. So you can still port it over. So make sure you just keep your domain active, and no matter which platform you choose for your e-commerce, you'll be able to port that over. Okay. All right. So is she the only one that has ever had a website? Okay. So out of the rest of you, how many of you guys are strongly considering a e-commerce site and feel like you're ready for a website where someone can just go on and just purchase your items? Still on the fence? Okay. So that means that everybody else, and I want to just kind of, confirm it, you are at a position like right now where you're not considering an e-commerce site at all. For those who did not answer at all, you're not considering a website at this time. Can you confirm or deny that in the chat? What are some of the reasons, or, why you feel like you're not ready for one? What about you, Sharia? Go ahead. Ashri, go ahead.
I don't think I'm ready because I think I still need to figure out, the pricing. I'm still watching your classes with the pricing and everything. So right now, I think I'm still, still in that learning phase.
Okay. If you had pricing, like let's say in a perfect world, you had pricing, do you feel like that's the only determining factor to having a website or not having an e-commerce site?
I think so. Because
Okay.
I think like for right now, if I knew pricing, I would focus on just one thing. Like for me right now, it will be focused more on shirts. Even though I've been practicing on the tumblers, but I think shirts will be my main thing.
Okay. Sharia? I think you're the only one I haven't heard from.
I have used a website before for shopping or whatever, but it wasn't like for my t-shirt business. I used to do jewelry. So I did have like a Google and all of that domain and everything that I will post jewelry on, but I did just let it cancel because I wasn't using it anymore. So I just stopped paying for it. So I've done it before.
And for what you do now, is there a reason why you're right now you're not considering a website?
Right now, I'm not considering one because, as I stated the other day, this is my side hustle that I'm trying to get up and running more. And if I get it growing to where I would need one, I would definitely do one. Or if I don't know, it's just that the website is so time consuming. To me, it was.
Which
And maybe
platform were you
because
using?
I think I was using Square, Google and Square.
Okay.
And maybe it was because of the jewelry, and I had like different pieces of jewelry.
You're trying to like keep uploading each piece and pictures of each piece.
Exactly. So maybe that's why I was so time consuming. It might be different with the shirts and the clothes that I do or whatever, but no, it hasn't crossed my mind to start one with this.
Okay.
For me, being that the price that I'm seeing and what I'm paying for Microsoft right now is not like really outrageous, that it is kind of in my wheelhouse. Even if I only put, 2 or 3 things on there to get my feet wet, to get my name out there, to, you know, things like that. I would definitely want to. Because I don't want to put 100 things on there and not be versed in what I need to do. So I'd rather start out with a few items and get my feet wet and learn how to maintain it and the different ins and outs, as well as pricing and or taxing, or different stuff like that. I would like to start out small.
The Microsoft one it allows for excuse me, carts and to check out, or is it just a landing page or website? So will that one allow you to have a cart to check out?
I'll have to look again. I thought I was on mute. I'll have to look at it again. But when I first got it, I remember wanting to get everything in one, even though I wasn't using it at the time. I wanted to get everything in one. So when I was able to use it, it was already there. But
Okay.
I'll look at it again real fast while we're talking.
Okay. Okay, so e-commerce, like the benefits of it, right? I just heard that, so let me put my phone on do not disturb before somebody ends up calling me. Okay. So your e-commerce website, it can serve a couple different, purposes, right? Even if you are just starting out. Most people think they'll have a website and it'll mean that they instantly have like sales. The truth is that only works for household names or those who are doing an excellent job in SEO, and you understand that whole process where when someone goes to a search engine and they put in certain words, you have something on your website that is going to basically be like a magnet. It's going to be attracted to that keyword they put in, and your website will come up as an option. We will not know your name, but depending on how you have it set up, it's going to come up as an option. They may scroll through that to see if you fit their needs. And depending on how your website is set up, they may or may not, shop with you. And that's more like for cold traffic. Then you have, come on. Then, you have like when you have a website, you have a warm audience. You have people that you communicate with. You have a relationship with your customers. You are putting in work, whether you're going to vendor shows, you're doing your, what is it, Chamber of Commerce, you're, a member of that. If you are working with schools, whatever it is, if you're utilizing your social media and you are directing traffic there. Okay, when it's a standalone website. So we talked about that Etsy versus standalone website. So you are directing traffic there. Even for Etsy, you would have to direct the traffic directly to your shop, because if you're relying on someone just putting in a search, a lot of shops could come up and there's not especially for cold odds, they're not checking for you. You take a chance and you not booking a sale because there are so many people. You can have a ton of things on an e-commerce site. It's not any like, it's for a cart. So whether it's physical products, if it is a digital download, if it's for a class, if it's for a membership, you need some sort of platform that has a cart and has a merchant account attached to it where someone can submit via a credit card and be able to easily check out and have access to whatever it is. Whether it's going to be access because you're going to get an order, then you now have to process it and ship it out. Or if it's a digital download or instant download, it's going to automatically download to it. If it's for a class, if it's pre-recorded, they're going to get access to it, or they're going to get access to the live. But that will take care of like completing the order. Websites, whether it's cold traffic or warm traffic, because you are directing them to it, your prices are clearly listed. It eliminates a lot of like the negotiation when you're talking to someone and they're just like, oh, you'll give them a price. Oh, but I wanted this, that. Like, can I do that? Like, it's clearly outlined what these prices are. If there are no sales going on, there's no need to ask, for discounts. You can clearly see it. So it eliminates, that back and forth with people trying to haggle you, because our prices are set. You either pay it or you don't. Even though you may have prices set, and you may have your own internal list of what things may cost, when they come to you and it's like you're giving their price, it's like a lot of they can waste your time. Like you're on the phone, you told them the price. Okay, well, what if I take off this? What if I take off that? Okay, well, can I replace this? Can I replace that? Well, with the website, you're going to be able to go through all of those, build your cart to your liking and to your budget. And I don't have to be on the phone with you, or I don't have to text you back and forth to take this. Now I have to recalculate and do. Nobody has time for that. So it's automation. The main thing with having an e-commerce site would be, I need automation. And even at just like, okay, so like now it's like $39 a month if you are not paying for it yearly. Even if it's just you're getting a few sales a month. For some, that is worth not dealing with the headache of going back and forth with people to go over pricing. You could even like just somebody calls you and inquires about something, instead of you hopping on a call, being on it for 20 minutes, or having to sit there and type out a message via text, via inbox, which takes up more time than actually talking on the phone. You want to eliminate that. You have this website where you can send them and they can see all of these things itemized and know exactly how much they cost. If you just had like a general site, they're going to be able to go on there and just see kind of maybe starting point prices, general prices. But when they're wanting to build out, okay, well, I want 10 of these shirts. If you have different prices for the mediums to the like larges and extra larges to 2X, they're different. They're able to go on there, build a mock cart and see how much it's going to cost to see if they want to, spend money with you. But you would sometimes we can spend time with people and it's really a waste of your time. You're going to go through all this. You're going to talk about all of your services, what your policies are, because on your website, you can have that as well. You're going to talk about the pricing. They're going to tell you, okay, well, I'm looking at, it's like maybe 10 of us, like, maybe a few over 2X. Okay, can you give me a general price? You're going to go through all this. Okay, I'm going to get back with you. You could have did it on the website. You just wasted 20 minutes of my time. You know, I could be doing in 20 minutes because you don't have customer service, right? It's you taking on all of these calls. So your website really could be just, it's freeing, it's automation, everything is there. Even when they send you an inquiry, if it's on your business page, you can even have an automatic post, like they inbox you. You can have an automated response that will send them to your website. So, we're going to get back with you. In the meantime, check out the website. Sometimes that eliminates you even having to they'll come back and say something. Okay, yep, I placed my order, blah, 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 blah. And I know it might be a little bit difficult and you're doing customs. So we're going to talk about that. Like, how does that relate to customs? It's normally a very seamless process for anything that is it's a set price for some sort of product, offer like digital download. If it's like shoes, okay, we go on Nike, we can see exactly how much, you know, this pair of Jordans is, how much this pair of like LeBrons is. You see what the cost is, put it in your cart, you order it. They're going to, you know, put all of their credit card, shipping information. It's there. You are now able to see all of your orders. So even with customized things, whether you did like customized invoices, or if you directed them exactly to what, like they may call you, you talk about some things and you're going to direct them exactly to where they need to purchase. Because you won't need to have all of your pictures and things like that on the e-commerce site. That's what your social media. Social media can be your portfolio. Your e-commerce site does not need to be your portfolio where you have a different listing. Oh, I have a listing for the CoComelon one. I have a listing for, well, CoComelon version 1, CoComelon version 2, CoComelon version 3. I have one for Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse. Like you can, if it's a custom ship bag, it's a custom ship bag, unless you're adding some extra stuff to it, which can still be under the same listing, and you would have your add-ons, because as they click on it, it will just add those things on. You don't want to have 30,000 listings. So you would have one, and, you know, maybe every quarter, you would rotate out the pictures, have a link that goes to your social media, create folders that's just for chip bags or just for party favors, for inspirational shirts, for tumblers or drinkware. And they can filter through those, like going through your posts and seeing, you know, the quality of your work. But your website doesn't have to have, you want to have some good quality pictures on there, but it doesn't have to have every single thing that you make. You don't have to feel like, okay, question. How do you guys beat yourself up, or you feel like, man, I didn't get to take a picture of this order before it went out, and you kind of feel bad about it that you did not get a picture of it before it went out? You feel like you need to take a picture of every single order you make. Okay, I got one person that says, yep. All right. Well, you really, really don't. I mean, if you want it for your, like for you, and for you to be able to see your work, how far you come, and just kind of track progress, you definitely can take those pictures, and they don't have to be like super, super done up pictures where you have a great background. Like you may just want to have that, keep it really, really close to it, and just take pictures for yourself. And that is okay if you got to rush to kind of get that picture, just as a reminder. But for your website, for your social media, you do not have to put every single order that you do. In order to, and some people will do it because they want to prove, hey, I have orders, I'm booked and busy, look what I can do. If it's a shirt, and I mean, how many times can we show a Salvation shirt? How many times can we show a reunion shirt? How many times can we show a tumbler? I mean, the tumbler's a tumbler. Now, if it's like this really, really dope design, I mean, you know, maybe, but even if it's like just the dope design, you can do mock-ups to show that. You don't have to have every single thing that you make and stress over taking a picture of every single thing that you do. Okay. I usually take pictures because I have some customers that want pics, but if it's a customer that wants one, you can make, like, let's be very clear. You can take pictures, and if a client wants a pic, you can send to them, but doesn't mean that it's website worthy. It doesn't mean that that is social media worthy. Like you can go and take just a quick snapshot for them to see it. It's just for their eyes. They want to make sure that it looks like how it was supposed to look. I will say I kind of advise against that and sending stuff beforehand, because if for some reason they're like, oh, well, I don't like this, and they want to start making all these changes, you can see it when you pick it up. Like a lot of, like for certain clients, I am not sending you extra pictures or sending pictures beforehand. You saw the mock-up. When you pick it up, you can see it. Oh, this is so nice. Because what we're not going to do is see this and want to make all of these different changes. Baby, this is done. Okay. And I don't want to have that conversation with you, or now I have to, you know, you hear like a little tinge of attitude and aggravation in my voice. When you pick it up, you can see it. I'm not sending extra pictures. Like that's extra work. would you like to pay? Like they ask for pictures? Okay, well, for me to stop what I'm doing and go ahead and take the pictures of these, that will be an additional fee of $10. Nip that in the bud. Nip it in the bud. I have a tumbler I did dang good on today, and I boxed it up, but did not take a picture. I still have the tumbler though. I mean, if it's in your possession, like maybe just like kind of forgot, just because you box it up, unless you like taped it up and used really, really hard to get to it. But if you just kind of took it and boxed up, if you really want a picture of it, then of course you can, take a picture. To me, I mean, they all are the same. Like, it's different designs, but a tumbler is a tumbler. If it's a matter of like, you feel like the design was really, really good, then you can always do a mock-up. But those who are doing like epoxy ones, where they're glittering it in a certain way, they're adding all of these different things to it, and it's nothing that you can really see digitally, because a summation tumbler is a summation tumbler. Once you put that design on it, to me, like, as far as it being summation, they all look the same. Nothing is special about it other than the design. So if it's something like that, you can just do the mock-up. If you really like, you feel like, hey, I did a lot of great work on this design. It was an original design of mine. Then you could do the mock-up. If the tumbler was gone, you couldn't get a picture of it, I wouldn't beat myself up that much. But if it's something where you were doing alcohol inks, you glittered it in a certain way, those I can see maybe wanting to, because it's like they're different every single time, and you did something like really, really cool and special on it. But summation ones, I personally wouldn't stress over it like too much. That's just me. Also, if you wanted to give the appearance that, so here's a little insight, little Professor Jim. 20-ounce tumblers are, they fit on 8.5 by 11. What's that paper called? The one I did the notebooks with, like your regular sticker, your vinyl sticker sheets. The same way that you would do a vinyl wrap for a tumbler with an eco-solvent printer. If you wanted to take pictures of a tumbler, like a physical tumbler with your design on it, print it out on regular, like the glossy or even the matte printable vinyl sticker sheets or whatever it's called. Print it out on that, wrap it around the tumbler the same way we do. And hey, you now can take physical pictures of this tumbler with the design on it. It's no different. And then you rip that sucker off, put the next one on. You're not using, or wasting or using eco-solvent prints. You're just doing a regular print that's going to cost you 20, 30 cents at the most, if you absolutely want to see like physical tumblers. Okay. With a design on it. I saw you show that last week and I thought that was brilliant. I was proud of myself because you could barely see where my overlap was. Okay, yeah, see, I see that. And see, that's more of a proud moment for you, not necessarily like for social media, because most people aren't even going to understand the excitement of that. And congratulations, I'm glad, you got that. So, it's always great to celebrate those things, especially if you struggle with it before. So if you can barely see it, most clients won't even like bat an eye, at that. So that's not important to them. Okay. But that's more so like your e-commerce automation. And it's just like, systemizing stuff, automation, and it makes it really easy to see your orders and things of that nature. And then another part of that is the opportunities like for funding that, can come from it. If you are consistently doing orders and, you're getting sales in and those sales are going to come through, it would be great to get an e-commerce website with someone that supported like capital. Whether it's, they have the ability for your clients to pay via PayPal. I was supposed to reset this part of it, I didn't, but if they're paying through PayPal, if they're paying through, like if it's a Shopify site, if they're paying through Sezzle, things like that, because they'll end up offering you capital, which can help your business outside of the traditional funding and things of that nature. Like we just finish one, we have another cap. As soon as you finish one, they end up offering you another capital like right after that. And the more sales you have coming through there, the more capital you have access to. And they just simply take it out of your order. So you don't even have to really think about like doing payments every single month to pay it back. It's going to come right out of your daily amount and like your order. So depending on how much you get and the terms you choose, it can be anywhere from like 10%, 12%, 17%, and it'll just come right out of your orders. So having certain e-commerce site can help you grow and scale your business a lot faster as well. But you got to make sure that you are ready for it. Okay. It can also help you with your taxes because it's going to keep track of that. It's going to keep track of your analytics, all those things. Like there are so many benefits to having a website, but excuse me, I don't want you to rush into that, excuse me, if you're not ready. When I first started my site with e-commerce, I was not selling products. I started mine for classes. So that was Mhm. Mm. Ooh, excuse me. So I started with like classes, and that was before I had Thinkific. I needed to send out a PDF that had the link to, at the time, I think I've used AnyMeeting, I've used Skype, we used like directly to like them coming to a direct Zoom. And then of course, eventually I had like the Thinkific site, but I would have all the information in a PDF, have the link to the Zoom or whatever the meeting link was. And that was basically a digital download. Before that, I would communicate with people that I had this class coming up, whatever. I would have them potentially pay via like PayPal. I like PayPal because I can really, really see it. PayPal also has like invoicing, and I'll tell you like the invoicing part on the custom side. But I would have them email me or do PayPal, or I have to send them a PayPal link. And it was a lot of manual work. And I got to the point to where, I mean, there's a lot of people asking it, and I'm spending half of my day sending out invoices. So it made sense for me to create, to get this website where they can go on there, they can click on the class, check out, and then it's going to instantly send them this digital download. If you are looking to get into digital downloads, so I did see someone say like, KDP. Amazon KDP is like the Kindle, it's basically publishing through like Kindle. If you wanted to also have like that you can get author's copies and like sellers, author's copies, what it's called. And if you wanted to sell those on your website, directly from yours, and you're getting everything, you can get those author's copies and have them to where you would sell the physical copies. There would be a way to where if you did like a guide or a physical, like, it's a digital version of a book and you set it all up so them to go through it. It's a PDF that like they just kind of scroll through. You can sell a digital copy of this mini series, this book or whatever. The same way that they would kind of sort of do with Kindle, but not, I mean, it's kind of sort of because you do kind of scroll or swipe, this way when it comes to like your Kindle books, but you could offer a digital version of it or a physical version of it, because it is something that is set in stone. Even if you are building your audience, as you are finding the people and you're going out and you're talking about your product, you're talking about your digital downloads, your book, your guide, your fitness journal, your recipe book. If you were in some sort of competition for baking for the holidays, you're doing something that's like, hey, I baked the best gingerbread cookies, best gingerbread house. You're in some sort of competition. People love it. You want to have somewhere where you can immediately send them to get the recipe, to learn how to make it or whatever. You have something where you can send it to them. You're just starting, but you're going to be like out and about, and you're going to be doing things to build traffic, speaking to people, networking. That website is great for them to immediately go and buy, and you don't have to lug around a lot of inventory. If you are someone that's already doing a lot of vendor events, this can close a bunch of sales for you. You may have, it's really hard to gauge what all to bring. So you may only have a few shirts of a certain design in a certain size. Now you can go and say, okay, hey, give me your information. I'll contact you, because you may not want to sit there, create an invoice, do this, do that. Because, especially if it's just you have other people coming up. They want to check out. They want to do this. They want to do that. Do you have multiple people, at this vendor event with you? Have multiple iPads to take down information? Or, okay, well, let's give me your information. I'll give you a call. Then you're giving them time to really think about it. Well, if you have your website where now they can go in and put that order in, and you've locked that in, you're not really, that you're doing a lot of vendor shows. You're not getting a lot of outside traffic, but that you have, like, you run into situations where at these vendor shows, you run out of something sold out, but people are asking for that thing that's sold out. Here's where your website definitely comes into play, whether it's your website, a standalone website, or even if it's Etsy. If you have those items on Etsy, you want them to be able to go in and make that purchase right then and there. The difference, though, with Etsy is they have to create an account, they have to log in, do all those different things. When you have a site like Shopify, you can have like a POS system. You can do like, what you have on your phone, and they can swipe and then pay for it right then and there. Even through like Squarespace, whatever, like no matter what your website is, you want them to be able to swipe that card, tap that card, whatever it is, and secure that order. A e-commerce site would be beneficial for you if you do a lot of vendor shows and things like that. And you want to be, and you maybe even want to limit what all you have. Maybe everything that you have is for display. And it's like, okay, just for them to see it, they get to feel it, they get to touch it. And you have your setup where it's all by order, because if they liked it there, they'll order it, and you want to now you don't want to give them time to think about it. Okay, we'll order it and we'll have it shipped out. This is all for display. We want to make sure we still have these. We will ship it out in 2 days. You'll get it in whatever, especially if they're local to you. You ship it out, they get it the next day. Now, if you're someone that travels for vending shows, it's a little bit different. But if you're local and you're doing a bunch of vendor shows locally, they're going to still get it within a day or two, or you can even have it set up and arrange for them to come pick it up the next day. Websites are beneficial for that. Okay. Like I said, whether it's classes, digital downloads, especially for vendor shows. If you are doing customized items, it can be a little bit tricky, but it's still possible. And a e-commerce site can be beneficial for you. Any comments, questions, concerns on classes, digital products? Is anybody here at that point where I know, LaShonda, you are, is anybody here like trying to sell digital products, or you eventually want to get into hosting classes and things of that nature, coaching, mentoring, something to that effect?
I do want to do digital downloads, but I think that's where I got stuck. Where to actually, I have a Square account, I have a PayPal account, but I was trying to figure out how I could automate it so that at least when they're ordering the digital stuff, that as soon as they pay for it, they get that digital download.
And that's going to be on Saturday, when we kind of go over all of the different website options and which one is best for digital, which one's going to be best for physical products, which one's going to be best for services. I haven't, but I would want to sell some digital products, but just no teaching. Y'all don't want these problems. Y'all don't want this smoke. Okay.
I'm going to tell you, it's like I am camera shy because I'm not as, I want to say experienced, but knowledgeable. That's what I'll say. Knowledgeable in this. Now, I can do a video on fixing on a car. I can do a video on putting down flooring and stuff like that because I am just so very confident. But this right here, now I'm not ready for the teaching, but I'm ready to
So,
learn
but
though.
why do you have to do a class on, you're teaching on crafting? So if you're confident in putting down flooring, that's a class, that's a teaching moment. Someone that wants to DIY it, like they're not looking to have contractors come in. They may want to learn from somebody like, man, it's a woman, she's going to get down, she's going to do it herself. She can do it. I can do it too. Even if that was your profession, maybe you can teach it in a way where you're like teaching them about how to measure, if it's that little tool to get around the corners and how to cut it down and different things like that. It doesn't have, like, when I say teaching, it doesn't have to be on anything like this craft or creative related. You can have a class on anything. Someone said they're going to start hosting classes for sewing. If you have some really, really dope recipes and in the way that you cook them, that is a class. People will take even virtual classes to do cook-alongs. Workouts. That doesn't have to be in crafting.
Well, I never thought about that, but yeah, I mean, I could do that. I mean, I feel good in that space, and I'm getting there in the crafting space, but like most things with my hands, yeah, I feel okay. I never
There are
thought about
people
that.
that
I mean,
would, come on.
little videos and look. I never thought. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We did the ones here. Like, I mean, we didn't like the tile that was here. We weren't ready to really rip everything up because we had just moved in, and like we didn't want to have to redo all the floors. We were ready to have our own, be in our own house. And now I'm glad we kind of did it, because if we would have done all those floors and then we had that cast iron pipe that burst, and we wouldn't have known that like in the beginning or whatever, because when you're tearing up floors, you're not really getting to like the plumbing, and we would have had to rip up floors again. Oh baby, the way I would have been 38 hot. So we kind of did like the peel and stick ones. Like we started with MJ's room, and then like my old office had it. This one in here doesn't. And I told even, I'm like, I really wanted to put it down in here before I moved all my stuff. Like it was supposed to all stay out, but then we ended up starting moving stuff in here. So now to move all this stuff out of here, it's going to be, but I wanted to put the flooring down in here. So even if it's something like that, like tips and tricks on that, if it's, real flooring and they're pulling up subfloor, people pay for that kind of stuff all the time when they feel like it's not just like a YouTube video that's like chopped and screwed. If you go through, you're actually giving tips in real time. If it is a class and it's like, it doesn't have to be like, okay, we're going to finish your whole room, but okay, let's at least get it started. And it's like showing in real time, like, what do you do for the corners? Where do you start from? How do you do your chalk lines? And you can literally do classes like that, whether you do them digitally, if you do them as an ebook, you're going to start off that way, create a guide, you do it, you're taking pictures of it. Like I said before, everybody has some sort of digital product in them. It does not have to be on like making shirts, making tumblers. There is something that you do that you are completely comfortable with, and you can help somebody get from A to B, A to C, even A to D. Now, I'm not here to teach you how to do this professionally. I am here to teach you how to DIM this. That is my phrase. Do it myself. People always say do it yourself, but it's like, no, it's me. I'm going to do it myself. Like you can create a guide that's going to help them DIM. Like, doesn't have to be.
I wish I would have thought of this like 2 years ago. I'm semi-sad now because I took my 97 Suburban and I took out all the seats. I took out the carpeting. I took out the installation and I replaced it all the way I wanted. I put a new sound system in. I got pictures of it, the stripped. I got pictures, but I didn't do like a video or anything like that.
So now you guys know, like this, I'm saying everything you do, record it. If you have an old phone and a pretty decent camera on it, because even like a lot of the, the phones are crap now. Like, you can't get them to work, but you can record on it. And even if like you don't have storage, now there is the thing on and I don't know if it's like on your Temu or if you can find it like on Amazon, but I know I've seen it on the TikTok shop. I know if someone's like, they're not on TikTok yet. You'll be surprised at like all the stuff that's available on TikTok shop. And it's because, Apples don't have, you can't put an SD card in it, but you can always, if you connect it to your computer, it's like, dumping it to a hard drive. So they have this little attachment that you connect to it. You put your SD card in it. So when you're recording, when you're saving pictures, you would save it directly to that SD card. You can do your videos like that as well, especially if you have a separate phone that you kind of put things on. I am one where I'm like, document it all. Document it all. Even if it's just for you and you can go back and look at that later to create something. If you get to a point where you cannot do a lot of physical things, you may have to rely on a lot of digital things to like make ends meet. When you have that documentation and it's there and it'll just help you write things out if that's your desire. I got a bunch of video content, but I'm just the digital guys just isn't like my thing right now. All right, so I'm going to just reset this one again. For product base, it can be a little tricky thinking about, having an e-commerce site, because in our mind, it's like, man, but I do so many different things. And you're probably thinking you're needing to have a listing for every single thing that you do. But like, you can have one that is all of your tumblers, even if it's custom. Your first one would be, maybe a mock-up, and it just says like your design here, right? Whether it rotates, if it's a static picture, and then the rest of the pictures might be collages or single pictures of tumblers that you have done, but underneath that one post. So you can have, if it's like you do all customized ones, under that one, you can have your 20 ounce, your 40 ounce, your 30 ounce. So it's literally all under one post. And when they are ordering and it's like custom, you're still communicating with them, or you have a system set up where they're going to email you. If it's correspondence, that way you call them back so you can get all of the details of their order. You can set up a quick Zoom call to go over the content, like the details of their order, but they will purchase it there. It makes it to where you can maybe have it, hey, let's purchase it first, and then we can discuss like all the details. Because if this works more so for those who have seen your work and they trust you, just like, okay, you do want to make sure that I'm not about to waste my time and you flake out on me. You can have them pay for it, and then that is how it confirms like their time, and like, you can put them on your schedule to actually get information. Because oftentimes we'll get all this information without securing the sale, and you've spent 30 minutes, you spend an hour, they call you back the next day, they want to make this, and we haven't even exchanged any money, but you're wanting me to do all of these different things. Now, this only works if you have proven yourself to be a professional and that you are capable of doing, just about any design. You're capable of putting out great work. If you are just starting, this may not work for you. You're not going to get a lot of people that's willing to pay you sight unseen. But if you are great at what you have, I'll go out community with you. All right, well, I will start it. You got to go to this, like click on here, go to this website, pay for that or whatever. I'll get started right on it. I'm at that point in my journey and in my business where I can do that. But starting off, it might be where you have to do a lot of kind of talking, closing the sale over the phone. Once you close the sale, if you don't want to deal with, okay, let me send you an invoice, because there is a way to use like PayPal. You can have everything in there. You can have all your shirts, the sizes, the add-ons, the this, the that, but you got to go in there and build this invoice one by one, by one, by one, by one. That's you putting in work. They can go on there. You have a listing that is for your Black shirts, whether it's unisex, if it's another listing for your Black lady V-cut shirts, especially if you use one consistent brand. Now, if you're the type of person that doesn't use one consistent brand, gets a little hazy, but you can now go to them and say, okay, you can either send them the direct link and they go to those specific ones. Okay, go ahead and just add to your cart everything that we talked about, this size, it, because now they're doing the work. while they're building their cart and they're paying for it, you can be working on something else in your business. They're not paying you for that extra time to, or unless, you know, you're going to make that a part of a service fee. So if you're doing, you have your prices and you're going to have like a service fee, or if you want to put it into your design fee, whoever, whatever, because you're constantly having to spend time going through creating this invoice and then emailing it to them, you can build that in if you want to be compensated for that time, or they do it. That's another benefit of it. But are you ready for that? Do you have your pricing? Do you have systems in place? How do you communicate with them? How efficient are you with designing? How efficient are you with turnaround times? If you are still shaky on those, the pricing is the least of it. What's your system like? How efficient are you? If you are working at high efficiency, then you just might be ready for one, because it's just going to make the process much smoother. But if you're still in like kind of like trying to figure this whole thing out, if you're still in a, you know, like there are times where like brand new stuff, I'd rather do it and then kind of sort of like, I'll give you like a about, you know, an about range, and I'm okay with like maybe not making as much, because this is my first time like really doing, like when I did that umbrella, I pretty much just got like the cost of the supplies plus a little bit extra. I didn't go too crazy, but that thing took a long time. And now after like someone comes now, and I probably still would, just because like if it's a different set, if it's the exact same thing that's different, but I probably would do at least 2 more before I had like a solid price. So for something like that, it would be a more like be more of, hey, this is the maybe starting price. I got to kind of see, and like once we go through all of it, and have at least a deposit, right? And you can have them either, you know, place their deposits through your website. That can also be where, even if you take cash for the rest of it, if you want to send another invoice, maybe you have this in like this website where they can complete orders so that they don't waste your time, because you are putting out and pumping out a lot of orders. You need an e-commerce site when you need efficiency. You need it to help you be systematic and automated. That is going to be the best time to get a e-commerce website. But if you got a few here and there and it's not consistent, may not be worth it for you to spend $39 here, $99 there. Some of them say like they're free, but they're not really set up for having a bunch of e-commerce, like a bunch of different products. It might be where you can only do 1 or 2 products, so that's not going to work for you. It's several factors, but the most important is, how systematic are you? How much automation do you need? Do you have your pricing? Do you already have your onboarding process with your clients? And once a cold call contacts you, what's the route? Like, how do they get in contact with you? Do you send out a questionnaire? Do you, what all do you do as an onboarding process for them to understand your business, how you operate, the quality, what you bring to the table, what the prices are, how to complete the order? If you haven't set those things up yet, we may want to still work on developing those with having direct communication with our clients, especially if you're not just ordering transfer. Now, if you're just ordering transfers, oh, that's even better. Like, once you go, the transfers you're going to order. If they offer you mock-ups and things like that, you're going to put that on the website. That's going to make that so much easier to facilitate. But it's the custom stuff where it gets a little hazy, especially if you are doing a lot of crafts and it's just all over the place. For your e-commerce site, if you're doing a whole lot, and you're just all over the place, and everything that you see in a website, in a Facebook group, you're wanting to do, you may not be ready. In your mind, it's like, okay, yeah, I do so much, I want to put it all on the website. But what I want you to understand is, even though you may think that you want it for automation, but I told us about automation systemization, and I don't have a lot of traffic, and it's always just me kind of sending people there. What happens when you know, you do have your SEO. Someone does that Google search, they put that order in, and they're ordering this really, really large order, and you're not ready for it. Be mindful of like your inventory that you're going to put on there. If you know that you're not ready, and you know, don't put it unlimited. If you know that you could not easily handle 100 shirts, if you're on your website under that listing, you haven't taken the time to write it out. What's your turnaround time? What's the, again, that onboarding, what they should be doing to place this order, because they come on there and they order 100 shirts, 25 tumblers, 16 mugs. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do then? If you're not ready for a large amount of orders to come in without your knowledge, be very, very careful with setting up an e-commerce website, because that means you are open for business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 366 in a leap year. You have to make sure that you are ready for that. Like, let's say you put a video out, you put your information on it. Yeah, any other time you're only getting a few views. But what happens if that video goes viral and all these people come rushing to your website? Either you're not going to be prepared, and you don't have enough stuff on there to facilitate, to help accommodate a viral video, or you're going to have it there, but you just have never figured out a plan. You're not ready for an e-commerce website if you don't have a plan for more than onesies and twosies. Okay. Questions, comments, feedback. What are your thoughts right now when it comes to e-commerce sites? Just want to hear some engagement right now. I've been talking a lot. I don't know if it's just you guys are processing it, because I don't see faces. I don't really see comments in real time. I just don't know what you guys are thinking.
That's definitely a lot to think about. And for me, it's a lot to prepare for it, not think if I want to do it, because I know I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot to prepare, to be more versed in it, because you're using acronyms.
Which ones?
I don't know. I should know it, but it's not coming.
Wait, which acronym did I use that you didn't know?
SEO.
Oh, search engine optimization. That's like, it's just keywords.
Okay. See, stuff like that. It's things for me to beef up on, because it is what I want to do. That's the outcome. And so I need to prepare. I need to educate myself. I need to immerse myself in the verbiage and everything else.
That's kind of going into like our next part too.
Definitely a lot of information to process. Some of it I thought of and was trying to figure out. Other parts is like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't think in terms of that. I primarily wanted the e-commerce for digital files, although I do eventually want to be able to have my products on there also. It's just a matter of, like you said, being able to handle how much is coming in. I think is what scares me the most, especially if I do a wide open onto Etsy, onto Facebook, onto wherever, because then I'm getting orders from everywhere. Whereas I said I pretty much for the beginning just wanted to stay local. So yeah, I think all of this is why I'm shuffling my feet as to exactly what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to overwhelm myself.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyone else? So I am glad you brought up that kind of be prepared component, because that's the part that we're going to end on. For me, being prepared for an e-commerce site, you should not get the site, set the site up, sign up for a site and then build it. If you don't have it built out on paper, if you can't build it out on paper, you're not ready for an e-commerce site. And what I mean by that is knowing what titles you're going to have for each of these items, descriptions for each of these, URLs, because with most sites, you can customize your URL and it's supposed to be like a condensed version. This is where that SEO. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. When someone goes in, they go into Google, they go into Yahoo, they go into Bing, and they're searching for something. It's crawling your website. It's crawling your listings, looking for those keywords. How often do they show up? I know when my niece's dad was looking for a shirt, he literally searched 9-year-old birthday shirt for girls, right? To see what would come up. Most people would think, okay, just like sublimation shirt, you might put birthday shirt. This is where you could, like on your website, you could literally have a different listing. Like if it's birthday shirts for first birthdays, second birthdays, third, have different listings for them. And then in the keywords, maybe you would list, even though you don't have all the pictures, some of our most popular first birthday for boys themes. And you're going to list those themes. It's a way to kind of sort of not have physical pictures of certain things, but kind of have the names. And or I would, like when I in my creative business one, I was talking, or it was in doctorate, one of those. And I was telling them that one of your workarounds to having licensed characters is you go buy something really, really small that you can like resell. So you might go and buy like a set of stickers, some socks, right? So you'll have a custom 2-year-old, like I had the one that I showed you guys with the glitter Minnie Mouse for the second birthday. And you're going to, like, for every birthday shirt that they order, you're going to get a free pair of Minnie Mouse socks. So all of your other stuff has birthday shirt, girls. You're not necessarily saying that you're selling a Minnie Mouse birthday shirt, but they can always call you. You leave directives on there for them to call you to finalize design details. And this is what, so when they go and they're selecting the one that's going to come with a free pair of Minnie Mouse socks, kind of sort of gives you an idea of the thing that they want, right? You're not violating anything because you went and you purchased those socks, and it's just going to be a free, gift with your purchase of your customized birthday shirt, where we didn't necessarily say that it was a Minnie Mouse shirt, but now come on. When we talk, I'll get those details and I'll send them and all that kind of good jack. I definitely got to figure out something because this thing just constantly keeps going blurry. But you can do things like that. So when you have that on there, you're not advertising and can get yourself in trouble saying that it's a Minnie Mouse birthday shirt. But those SEOs of first birthday, second birthday, and then it's going to crawl for that Minnie Mouse and things like that. And those other keywords, it makes it so where your site will come up because you have all of these things that will just come up from a search when you are taking the pictures of your items, how you label them. So even the title of your pictures, you know how when you go and you're searching for images and then you go to save it and it says a name there and then it's a JPEG, a SVG, a PNG, a PDF or whatever, but there's already a populated name there. That's because they titled that picture that particular name. So now it's going to make it where it's easier for that to come up in a search engine, because even the names of your pictures is a part of that search. Your titles, your descriptions, your pictures, and under pictures, there is a thing called alt text, which serves a couple different purposes, but that also helps with your search engine optimization. Any words show anywhere on your website, even hidden in the background where it's not like, your, your collections, all of that becomes searchable and can make it where you come up from a cold search from just a client. So that's essentially what search engine optimization is. So that's why it's important for like this last component, what I'm saying, do you have these things ready? Have you sat there and written them down? Whatever it is you have in your craft space, start now. Use ChatGPT. Create it, like write it down, create a Word document. You want to write the Word document because it's going to make it easy to put it on whatever website that you decide to use, where you can copy and paste. But your title, your description, your URL, and titles for pictures, as well as some alternative text, what's alt text, like ideas for those, and like do it for everything that you plan to sell. If you are willing to do that now, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say if you're willing to do that now. If you're not willing to do that now, if your mindset is, I don't have the time for that, you're just not willing to put in that work, you are not ready for an e-commerce website. The site is there for automation. It's not there to help you come up with the ideas. You should have the ideas. You should have the framework. You should have the structure. You should know how you want to take the pictures before you set up that e-commerce site to make your life a whole lot easier, because once you set it up, it's going to be a matter of copy, paste, putting in your sizes, putting in your price. Oh, you also want to have your prices as well. Putting in those prices, and it's going to be so much easier to set that website up. But if you're not willing to do those things and write them down and then convert them into a digital copy of it, you're not ready for an e-commerce website. Okay. So that's like that's the biggest thing. Preparing yourself before you even select a website. All right. Any last remarks, questions, comments, concerns, anything that you guys want to discuss about anything that we have that I have discussed tonight?
No, I wasn't taking notes tonight, which I really wish I would have. I've been multitasking, but I'm going to watch it again. I need to take some notes because, all the time I was saying Microsoft, it was Google. Okay. It's Google Business. I think they call it Google Enterprise or something like that. So yeah, that was like a real big one. Google and Microsoft don't sound alike. But yes, I need to take notes. I need to make me an outline so I can start preparing. And I know there's more to this, but at least, I can get started.
For anyone, what is your biggest takeaway from the information that you have received tonight?
Being prepared for the large orders that you don't expect. I'm the same way. I was multitasking also, so I didn't get to do my notes like I normally do. So yeah, I'm gonna need to go back, and especially here at the beginning, because I wasn't here on I was here but not listening in the room because I was on the call. So to listen to the beginning. I'm assuming this won't be up before Saturday's
Well, this time around, I mean, with the people that are coming, I did this one where, I mean, the YouTube link technically is there. I can release at least the YouTube link. Before, because of the way I kind of had mine set up, the YouTube links were going to be private and it drip contents. But I think for most of the ones for this month, I'm just going to go ahead and make them available because it is a little bit harder with all these different ones and labeling them. So I'll try and make the link for this available immediately.
Okay, thank you.
Or at least
Much
by in the
appreciated.
morning.
That's good. Much appreciated. Because I'd like to one, take notes, two, hear the beginning, and three, at least partially be ready with questions for Saturday. Because I think
Saturday.
Saturday's discussion is more what I thought tonight's discussion was going to be. But even based on tonight, I think I probably will have more questions or looking in terms of what details I'm looking for you to come out with as we
Okay.
go through Saturday's session.
Yeah. Perfect, perfect. Awesome, awesome. Anyone else? What are your takeaways? Any takeaways from tonight's information?
Well, my takeaway is, of course, preparation, but also there are many layers, okay? And I can't expect, being where I am in my knowledge and my skill, to be at the top, or let me just put it bluntly, to be where you are. So I have to start where I am, even if it's just a little on a domain, to get me out there, get me accustomed, get me, prepared. And when I say prepared, I mean, like you say, I can't expect for somebody to give me a 50 shirt order or 50 banner order and I can't fulfill it. I have to know what I'm saying and know what the impact is of what I'm advertising.
Yeah.
If I advertise it and I can't pull through with it, then that's bad on me and my business. So it has to be worded correctly, and I have to be prepared and know my sources.
Awesome, awesome. Appreciate that. No one else had any takeaways?
My takeaway is you are truly right when you say you have to be totally prepared. And that's just from me speaking, like, and just being motivated to do it because it is time consuming having to make sure, you keep everything in stock. And you also have to keep up the design of your site. When I was on Google, like I had to keep up the design and, do sales, and you have to keep up with discount codes. And I mean, you just have to know how to do all of that. And some of the things, I had to ask for help, but to me, it was still time consuming, very time consuming. So, yeah, so whatever you said tonight, you were right on it because a lot of that stuff I did experience. So I know what to look for next time when I get ready to do it. So, right on point. Just make sure you're prepared. And like you said, it would be better if you have everything written out first. So then when you go to start doing it, you can just, have your outline of what you want to do. So, the different steps and stuff. So right on tonight with the information.
Thank you. I know when we talk about what's names, I'll make a note of that. One, I kind of, do discount codes like here and there. I want to, because it's like what I'm kind of trying to do, like with our other site, I don't do like a lot of discount codes, but what you can do, and what I love about Shopify is if you plan, let's say you have this meeting with your, you have your business, you have your board meeting, even if it's you, if it's like scheduling a session with me to help you, like, I'm on your board and helping you with like planning out your year, whether you do that and set that up in December or January, you can actually set your codes and know that, because like when I do pricing for profit, right, I talk about building in those discounts. So if it's going to be based off like, every quarter, maybe at the end of every quarter, you're running a sale. In Shopify, you can think about those sales, like those codes that you want to have, or if it's going to be like an automatic one, you're going to put that in there. You're going to schedule it out. You don't have to think about that. You don't have to go in there all the time and put in discount codes. Maybe set them like, okay, I know I want to do sales. If you want to do Black Friday or Cyber Monday, you go in there, you put those discount codes in at the beginning of the year and put on there the date that it's supposed to start. And then all you have to do is just advertise it, and you don't have to worry about that, but you have to have that planned out, again, written in the book. I may write it down, make a digital, kind of like person, but you can do things like that to prepare, and like where it's not so much stress on you when you're like right in that season. So there's a lot of, a lot of benefits, especially to something like Shopify, where you are able to, like I said, pre-schedule a lot of that stuff. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, comments, feedback, takeaways, we are going to go ahead and wrap this up. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity, be incredible, and I will see you on Saturday. Peace.